children. Let's get them moving.
Hey guys, it's that time of year again, the Atlantic hurricane season. Are you ready? Here's another ZNS Hurricane Readiness Tip to help you prepare. Edward Albury, Vice President with responsibility for claims at J.S. Johnson, tells us when we should update our home insurance policy and how to tell if we have enough coverage.
As far as your policy being updated and sufficient coverage, optimally you would want to make sure that your sums insured mirror the value of your property. And one of the ways to do that is to have a professional appraisal done at regular intervals, perhaps maybe every 3 years, so that you know what the value of your home is and you can match that to the sum insured.
Now, should we inform our insurer about any home improvements?
Well, obviously, anything that you do to your house, any improvements or whatever, you want to make sure and let your insurer know. Because if you say, for example, you buy a generator or you add a section to your house, these changes change the values that are involved. And so your insurer should know so they can tell you whether or not your insurance should be adjusted to match the changes in the value. So any changes that change the risk, right, or the value of the properties, they should be updated and notified to your insurer.
This has been another ZNS Hurricane Readiness Tip to prepare you for the storm.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the news, the Minister of State for Public Service addressing the long-standing concerns of public service workers. The Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce weighs in on the delay of the Grand Lucayan sale. And a local businessman says the Bahamas government is not to blame for the downfall of the FTX group. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping news tonight, the Minister of State for Public Service giving an update on the ongoing negotiations between the government and the Public Service Union following recent reports that the BPSU was not satisfied with the proposed industrial agreement made by the government. Minister Pia Glover-Roll says her ministry is working to address long-standing matters and concerns held by public servants. She is also pledging the government's commitment to completing the regularization of contractual workers in the sector by the end of next year. The government has completed negotiations with various unions in the country, which has resulted in the largest remuneration for Bahamian workers in the public service. However, there is one in particular that is still under review. The Minister of State for Public Service, the Honorable Pia Glover-Roll, says the government has presented its final proposal to the Bahamas Public Service Union, but at last report, the BPSU members have declined the offer.
The Bahamas government has given our final offer, one that we think is an excellent offer, considering our fiscal state as a nation, considering the fact that public servants have not had an industrial agreement or any benefits of an industrial agreement for over 4 years. It was important, it was imperative that we got this agreement negotiated and we offer the best possible terms, something that you could call a great start.
Based on the current fiscal state of the country, Roll says the financial secretary has ensured that the government is giving public servants the best possible offer at this time. And until there is an agreement, negotiations will continue in good faith. The public service minister also speaking on the government's efforts to regularize contract workers who have worked in the public service for far too long. Now, this too is an issue plaguing many of the workers in the public sector.
So that process is ongoing. The goal is to have that completed by the end of 2023. Basically, that is a process. You know, we're looking ministry to ministry, department to department. Persons who feel that they've been overlooked, I've always given my contact. People reach out, and we're getting them sorted out because persons that are on contract or have been on temporary for excessive periods. We want to regularize them, make them permanent and pensionable, because our next step, as I've spoken about before, is a contributory pension plan.
And as the government continuously engages in promotional exercises within the public service, the Honorable Pia Glover Roll assures that it is inclusive of the entire Bahamas.
Transform and reimagine public service for me has been a focus on the entire archipelago. Within my first month in office, I would have come to Grand Bahama and reestablish a standalone Ministry of Public Service for Grand Bahama, because it was important that we place a focus on the northern region. So our Grand Bahama Public Service Office, of course, facilitates the northern region as well. So there is an Nassau-centric approach to the way that we manage public servants in Grand Bahama and any of our islands.
In other news, President of the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce, James Carey, is voicing concerns about the future of the island's economy following an announcement by Lucayan Renewal Holdings suggesting that Electra America Hospitality Group would not follow through with the sale of the resort due to shifting global capital markets and inflationary pressures. Our Raven Davis shares the details in this report.
Reports regarding investors' inability to proceed with sealing the deal on the famed Grand Lucayan Resort is disappointing, despite prior subtle indications that pointed to the present reality. That is the word from Chamber President James Carey, who believes the resort would have been the catalyst for Grand Bahama's economy. Last week, Monday, Lucayan Renewal Holdings Limited announcing that Electra America Hospitality Group had difficulty securing development financing terms that would allow them to fully execute their vision.
We were anticipating that with the completion of that hotel, the completion of the sale of that hotel, other things would accrue to us. But that is not to be. Is that there are certain things that persons are waiting to get going with, certainly not of the size of the Grand Lucayan, but persons are waiting for the economic development so that they can complete their investments regardless of how small.
Carey says the business sector is now left with many unanswered questions. He is suggesting that local authorities liaise with business owners to discuss plans for the island's eventual rebound.
At this stage, we're sort of left out there in the doldrums about what is really planned for Grand Bahama. We were excited the other day there with the announcement by the Weller Group of their coming development at Discovery Bay. And we were really hopeful that behind their announcement there would have been a different announcement about the Grand Lucayan.
When asked for comment on what he believes might have resulted in the supposed delay, Carey reveals that he never thought Electra Group was in a well-placed position to properly develop the resort. However, there are some attributing factors.
The fact that there is no airport of substance, that contributes to the process because, the hotel depends on persons coming in, mainly flying in, who will spend time. But my personal belief is that the traveling persons, visitors these days, they're looking for more intimate settings.
And with Freeport once dubbed the Magic City, the Chamber President says he's doubtful things will return to how they once were. However, there is still hope for Grand Bahama.
We need the critical mass, which is our population, to return to what it used to be. We need the employment opportunities, the investment opportunities.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Raven Davis.
Well, the downfall of the crypto exchange company FTX Group has become a hot-button topic locally and internationally. And tonight, a Bahamian businessman is making it clear that the Bahamas government should not be blamed for the debacle, while noting that a second look at the country's legislation as it relates to digital assets is necessary. Simone Davis reports.
Businessman Cassius Stewart says while the downfall of the FTX group is disappointing, it is important to understand that it is not a direct implication on the Bahamas.
FTX has FTX International, FTX USA, and other subsidiary businesses. I suspect that we were under FTX International, and being under FTX International, the U.S. company is totally separate. But because they're all one company as a conglomerate, everyone is affected. But it's not a negative reflection on the Bahamas per se, or our regulatory body and so on. And so I don't want people to think that the Bahamas is negatively affected, or this is a pinpoint finger at the government for bringing them in.
Last week, Friday, the FTX Group announced that the company had filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy as founder and CEO Sam Bankman-Fried resigned from his post. The exchange group reportedly has assets valued between $10 billion and $50 billion, with the size of its liabilities in the same range. The company also has more than 100,000 creditors, according to the filing. As the Bahamas Securities Commission investigates whether or not there was any criminal misconduct actioned in the demise of the crypto exchange company, the main question is, will customers be compensated for their investment in the digital business?
This is where the Securities Commission comes in. They froze all of the assets, and part of those assets may be land holdings, yachts, whatever he bought in the Bahamas that he can get a hand on. And if you have customers who have investments that are trying to retrieve resources, refunds, then what they would do is liquidate those assets to be able to satisfy some of the outstanding customers. They are monitoring whether or not if a crime is committed. And if our legislation did not cover certain things that was done, then there was no crime committed in the Bahamas.
However, Stewart says there can be no crime committed if there's no law in place, while emphasizing that taking a closer look at the country's legislation as it relates to digital asset management is critical to avoid these incidents from occurring in the future.
I think this is a learning curve for the Bahamas because we just have to now form and create and fashion our legislation to be able to mitigate against this in the future. FTX is and digital currency and bitcoins, they all have to stay. We just have to figure out now, how do we now make sure that our laws can protect depositors and people who invest in the space so that this won't happen again.
According to international reports, the bankruptcy filing marks the start of months or even years of legal fallout as lawyers try to work out whether the exchange can ever continue to operate in some form, and while customers demand compensation. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Simone Davis.
Well, in other news, the relaunch of GirlCon is expected to take place in January 2023. And as preparations begin for the new year, the organization is implementing a list of exciting activities, beginning with mammogram examinations in hopes of improving the cancer statistics on Grand Bahama. Jelanda Thompson-Everest reports.
Chairperson for the GirlCon committee, Catherine Smith, says that they wanted to do something different and impactful in Grand Bahama, this time for the senior women.
The first 50 women who were selected this time, they were selected, they are the parents or guardians of the senior girls who attend the 3 public schools. But we wanted them to become, as young women, to become more aware of the need for testing. And so we decided that we would get them more involved by selecting, or talking to their parents or their aunts or not their uncles, but their aunts and their sisters and people who are probably their guardians, to encourage them to do the testing.
For the month of November, they began with a list of 50 women, and within the following months, they will be accommodating 25 women each month, leading up to October 2023.
The comforting thing about having a mammogram as a female is that early detection is very critical. Because don't forget, if we find things early, we can prevent it. We can actually not prevent it, but we can actually cure it very early. But once things get out of hand, it makes it very difficult for cure. And then you have to just get treatment, and then it cannot have a good prognosis. So early detection is key.
Consultant for internal medicine medicine and nephrology Monique Pratt will be receiving the screening results and contacting persons if necessary. She's also sending a stern message to women to get registered. Persons interested can send their contact information to the email mammogramformummy@gmail.com.
We are targeting women who are perhaps unemployed. They have no health insurance. This is probably their first time doing a mammogram. And we want to do that because we are of the opinion that there should be a little bit more awareness of screening. And all of the other organizations do a wonderful job every October of offering free screening for women. What we'd like to do is we'd like to offer screening from beginning this month. We started today at the Lucayan Medical, but we want to offer screening every month leading into October 2023.
Mammogram for Mummy was sponsored by Cancers of America, a personalized patient center dedicated to tailoring cancer treatment for patients, and Island Luck Cares Foundation. Smith says she's very grateful to the sponsors because their assistance played a major role in the grand gesture. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Jolanda Thompson Everett.
A 43-year-old man is pleading for financial assistance to undergo hip surgery that he believes will help him regain mobility. The Grand Bahama man was involved in a horrible traffic mishap some 13 years ago that changed the course of his life and has left him disabled. Tonight, the family is asking for financial assistance to help him walk again.
I was taking a friend home. He was drunk, and they wanted me to take him home. And that's when we got in an accident. He was to drive as a passenger in the car.
The pain from an accident that took place some 13 years ago is still excruciating for 43-year-old Marcus Forbes. Struggling to speak through the discomfort, he says the last thing he remembers is leaving his birthday party with a friend.
He got hurt on my birthday. They had a party, a birthday surprise party for me, and after the party, I got hurt. Coming from the party, I got hurt and was in coma for a few weeks with a broken neck. So after came through, started to do low therapy here and there. And
loss of memory, agonizing pain, and immobile is the condition he is in following the accident. Despite taking part in therapy sessions over the years, through unfortunate circumstances, his condition worsened, and now he is in need of surgery.
Right now, I'm not walking like that, and the legs are constant. I'm in a lot of pain, and the legs are in one position. Seeking some help to get some release on the legs. Right now, I've been looking like I needs to be, like they needs to deal with the hip bone.
Forbes says he's thankful for the support he received from his family and friends over the years, but there are days when he questions why it had to be him. His mother, Marilyn Forbes, is the encouraging voice in his ear daily.
As I say to him all the time, I say, you know, many young people have left this world with been in an accident and you still here. I say, even though you're suffering, I say, but you still give God thanks. I say, because if God wanted you to go, he would have took you then. But it's a reason why you're here. So you got to give God thanks.
Reminiscing on the days before the accident, Forbes says he misses walking, working, and being independent. The family is appealing for some financial assistance.
They're saying he needs hip replacement. He also had been to Cuba, and they say the same thing. He needed a hip replacement for him to get up back on his leg.
They say if they have to change the hip bone to be like around 16 or 15. So.
Now, if you would wish to contribute to Marcus's journey, you can make donations at First Caribbean Bank account number 444-04068. Once again, that's 444-04068. And when we come back, a local cafe has committed to serving over 6,000 children per week. The details of that story, sports, and more when the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, returns.
Hi, I'm Wes. I'd like to put some shoes on your feet.
Hi, I would like to put some shoes on your feet.
Hi,
I want to put some shoes on your feet.
I want to put some shoes on your feet.
Hi, I want to put some shoes on your feet.
Let us put shoes on your feet.
Morning.
Good morning.
Your head good?
What happened?
Officer, you see any armor truck anywhere?
No, sir.
So why you weren't you depositing the money and you ain't get no protection?
What you need to do is mind the business that pays you.
Oh, so she say that. Yeah, avocado head.
Hey, niceness.
Yeah, watch this.
How you doing there, bad man? You can't let me, darling.
Get.
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 Yeah, you think guys a dog ain't, but get. Give me this thing, girl.
Get up. Hey, get him.
I ain't get nothing.
Sarge, you stay there and let them rob me?
I don't say mind up and this that pays us.
I got. Hold on. But I do not know. I get a set. Y'all give me that fight.
Just a reminder to members of the public that when depositing monies in the bank or any depository location, check your surroundings to be aware of any suspicious persons or vehicles lurking in the area with the intention of committing a crime. I'm advising you to seek the assistance of the police or perhaps an armored truck. Let's continue to work together to create safer communities.
That's what I told her. Bring the winding thing here. This is Rick and Script, so show me emotion. Hey, wine and go down low.
The King of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. An initiative has gotten the attention of many in the community. It is a charitable service catering to thousands of children in the Freeport area weekly, ensuring that they receive proper nourishment. Jolanda Thompson-Everest has this story.
It is a service that has touched the hearts and minds of many little children near and far. Better to Serve You Cafe feeds over 6,000 students a week, nurturing their well-being with physical and spiritual food. Mistress Violet Mizik said the work began during her childhood, growing up in Exuma with her grandparents. She reminisces that growing up poor was not always easy. However, her grandmother always taught her to be a cheerful giver, putting smiles on the faces of those they were able to help, regardless of their own circumstance.
When I came over to Grand Bahama Island, and how the Lord instructed us to feed the children, it is such, a pleasure. And it started out where we had the children came in like one by one. And in our spirit, we know that it was a need. So what we did is, in the evening time, before closing, we all would encourage them about the Word of God. We do spiritual and physical food. And what they do is they sit down, and when they sit down, we already tell them about the Word, so we feed them.
She says she always had a heart for people, but her love for children continued to grow daily. Quickly thereafter, feeding a few children, the rumors began to spread, giving the Miziks a budding food and children ministry.
The vase became bigger and bigger, I would say about 10 years ago, where we feed like about 1,500 children a week. And we also, feed some of the old folks home. And it's a pleasure. I give God thanks and praise. And the children, what they need to go to school, they need breakfast. That's the first thing in order even for them to learn. So we give God thanks and praise, because the Word of God tells us, suffer the little children that comes unto thee.
Violet gives all thanks and praise to God for blessing them with the idea of the children's program. Supported by her husband and managing partner Newton Mizik Sr., he explains that when God gives a word, it is very important to follow that word.
That's our passion, to feed, to take care of God people, because he said if we take care of his, he will take care of ours, our need. So, it's important to listen to God, and when you obey his words, he will take care of you.
The Mystics say that the program will continue as long as the kids are coming in for breakfast and going to school. They express that there are no plans of giving up now. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Jolanda Thompson, Everest.
Well, the Grand Bahama Children's Home is gearing up for its Sip, Savor, and Support fundraising event. Officials explaining that operational expenses are pegged at some $400,000. They say keeping up with the hefty bill has become increasingly challenging, and the hope is to garner full community support.
We need our Grand Bahama community to come in and help us any way that they can. We've got our Sip, Savor, and Support, which is a fantastic opportunity. And where we get that donation of $250 per person is specifically what it costs to raise a child, to care for our children, one child per week. And as I was mentioning to you earlier, that's the amount that we get after we take away all the committed funding. It's important to come out, to celebrate, we're all just ready to get back into having a good time, and this will be an extra special event for that. And I assure you it will go to where it's most needed.
Well, Executive Director Joan Hutchinson sharing more details about the event, adding that one has not been held since 2019. The fundraiser is slated for Saturday, November 19th, under the patronage of the wife of the Prime Minister, Mistress Anne Marie Davis.
The event will be at Stone Crab, and it will begin at 7 o'clock. We're very excited to be able to have persons to come in and share with us a time of celebration, be able to talk about the children, be able to fundraise with them. It is a cost of $250. It's not black tie, but we want elegance as the dress for the evening. A gentleman, not necessarily tie. It's not a necessarily black tie event. But again, we want to make sure it's a smart event for gentlemen.
Your Tuesday evening check on sports is up next with Jay Philippe.
Good evening, I'm Jay Philippe and welcome to Sports. Well, high school volleyball playoff action heating up at the St. George's Gymnasium. Let's take a look.
The Junior Girls Championship in the Rosina Nesbitt Oriole Knowles High School Volleyball League is set after the Tabernacle Falcons ousted the LIS Buccaneers in their semifinals clash 2-0. The Falcons will take on the BMES Warriors for all the marbles this coming Wednesday, and Coach Saleka Williams and team captain Jasmine Ingram are ready for the challenge.
We haven't lost any games as yet, so I'm going to go back into practice again tomorrow and be ready for the championship on Wednesday.
Right now, we feel very confident. At the end of the day, these are the same teams we have beaten before, and with God's help, we will beat them again.
The first set was a close one, but the Falcons rallied to win that one 21-18 and completely dominated the second set 21-7. Next, the senior girls quarterfinals play. The Amarok Blue Jays prevailed over the Buccaneers 2-1, winning the first set 21-19. They would drop the second set 21-10 before winning the match in the final set 15-8. Lastly, the Sunland Stingers would later defeat the St. George's Jaguars 2-1. After losing the first set 13-21, they rallied to win the final two sets 21-13 and 15-5. Presenting as Total Sports, I'm Shane Stubbs.
Switching gears now in track and field, junior world champion and national record holder Antoine Andrews is headed to Texas Tech in the spring.
I decided to go with Texas Tech University because they had my major, which is kinesiology, and the things I was looking for in the college, they had to offer me. I'm excited to head off to college. I'm quite eager to compete. It's a new chapter in my life, and also the coach at Texas Tech, the CM Bond, basically the CM Bond, me and my coach have been locally. I can see myself being more close with my college coach.
B3A's President Dromiko Archer was also in attendance at the signing.
On behalf of the B3As, this is a proud moment for us. It's a proud moment for our sport, and we look forward to seeing him reaping more gold medals, but also to become a very successful individual in life.
And finally in sports, there won't be a perfect season this year in the National Football League, ladies and gents. The last undefeated team, the Philadelphia Eagles, who were 8-0 at the time, fell to the Washington Commanders 32-21 on Monday Night Football. The Eagles now drop to 8-1, while Washington improves to 5-5 on the season. And that's a quick check on sports, ladies and gents. I'm Jay Philippe. Be blessed.
Should be everyone's business. Therefore, we want to remind you not to leave your bags or valuables visibly seen on the seat of your vehicle unattended. This negligent practice will create an opportunity for a criminal to commit a crime. Please desist from such practices.
This message is brought to you by the Royal Bahamas Police Force, creating safer communities.
Bad lady, you should be driving me crazy when she licking her lips and moving them hips like come here, baby. I wanna take it down now.
The King of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM.
Your #1 news team covering the North. Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Richiana Major, you are our Facebook friend of the day. We also want to wish you a special happy birthday from the entire news team here in the North, and we thank you so much for your continued support. And that concludes the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Rico Knowles. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to stay tuned as the Bahamas Tonight continues.
Hey guys, it's that time of year again, the Atlantic hurricane season. Are you ready? Here's another ZNS hurricane readiness tip to help you prepare. Edward Albury, Vice President with responsibility for claims at J.S. Johnson, tells us when we should update our home insurance policy and how to tell if we have enough coverage.
As far as your policy being updated and sufficient coverage, optimally you would want to make sure that your sums insured mirror the value of your property. And one of the ways to do that is to have a professional appraisal done at regular intervals, perhaps maybe every 3 years, so that you know what the value of your home is and you can match that to the sum insured.
Now, should we inform our insurer about any home improvements?
Well, obviously, anything that you do to your house, any improvements or whatever, you want to make sure and let your insurer know. Because if you say, for example, you buy a generator or you add a section to your house, these changes change the values that are involved. And so your insurer should know so they can tell you whether or not your insurance should be adjusted to match the changes in the value. So any changes that change the risk, right, or the value of the properties, they should be updated and notified to your insurer.
This has been another ZNS Hurricane Readiness Tip to prepare you for the storm.
Nobody can talk about your business or a special event like you can. Do you want a way to bring your message to a large audience? You need a live ZNS radio interview. 5 minutes of airtime to let listeners know directly from you all about your company, product, or upcoming event. And now, for a limited time only, get 5 interviews for 25% off or 10 interviews for 35% off. Call the ZNS sales office today, 502-3800, and get on the radio.
Our children aren't moving enough, increasing their risk of diabetes and obesity. Let's get them moving. Island. Let's get them moving.
Influenza, or the flu as it is commonly called, is a viral illness that usually occurs between the months October to March. The virus is transmitted from person to person through coughing, sneezing, or talking. Symptoms include fever, cough, headache, runny nose, generalized body aches, and fatigue. There is no specific treatment for the flu, and the symptoms usually dissipate after 3 to 7 days. Because it is caused by a virus, antibiotics are not used to treat the flu. Persons are encouraged to rest and drink lots of fluids. Panadol is recommended for fever and body aches associated with the flu. However, aspirin should be avoided due to the risk of bleeding. To decrease the spread of flu, persons are encouraged to get their flu shot annually and practice good cough hygiene. Additional information can be provided by your community clinic or the Health Education Division at the Ministry of Health. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health in partnership with the Public Hospitals Authority.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, the National Report. Government's response to the FTX collapse. The country's economic recovery remains steady. In sports, the Bahamas men's national team falls to Argentina. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report starts now.
ZNS News is linked up by BTC. Whether it's chatting, gaming, content creating, or working smart to get things done, link up to stay connected with BTC.
Good evening, I'm Desmond Saunders. Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been days now since FTX digital markets imploded, yet the global cryptocurrency exchange's startling collapse continues to dominate headlines. And this includes online reports that FTX former CEO Sam Bankman-Fried is selling his penthouse here in the Bahamas, coupled with local investigations into the company's operations. While Bankman-Fried has released a series of tweets noting, "I'll get to what happened." Tonight, we hear from the government. One question ahead of this morning's weekly cabinet meeting, Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable Chester Cooper, said only this.
Let me say that the Prime Minister will be speaking to the FTX matter. It's in his remit as Minister of Finance. It's a regular matter for the regulators. I can tell you, though, that I am confident about the regulators. I'm confident about the laws governing financial services in the Bahamas. We've had curveballs thrown at us before in financial services, and we persevered. We've pivoted in financial services many times, and I expect that we're going to do likewise in the digital assets business. As it relates to the specifics, as you are well aware, the regulator, Securities Commission, is handling the matter, and anything from the government will come from the Minister of Finance, that happens to be the Prime Minister.
A similar response coming from National Security Minister Wayne Monroe.
I can say, for my information, no one has been detained by the police. I wouldn't like to disclose anything beyond that.
But an investigation is ongoing.
Anytime the Royal Bahamas Police Force has information that people make allegations that there may be criminal conduct, depending on how it is presented, they then take steps to satisfy themselves as to whether something has or has not happened.
Meantime, as reported, Brian Sims has been appointed provisional liquidator in the matter, and PricewaterhouseCoopers' Kevin Cambridge and Peter Greaves joint provisional liquidators in their investigation of FTX Digital Markets. The Securities Commission further noting in a release that given the magnitude, urgency, and international implications of this developing story, it recognizes a need to move swiftly to further protect the interests of FTX clients, creditors, and other stakeholders globally. Over the coming days and weeks, the Commission expects to engage with other supervisory authorities on a regulator-to-regulator basis. As the probe continues, the Commission promises to extend its full assistance to the police if and when required. Well, as questions mount over FTX's sudden collapse and the wide-reaching implications of it all, local financial consultant Wayne Johnson says the country's financial services regime remains strong.
Since we enacted the DARE bill, strengthened the financial services laws as it relates to digital assets. And so as we look at the Bahamas and we look at this whole cryptocurrency space, we see that the market has been affected by what has happened locally and globally. So the strengthening of our digital asset Act has placed the Bahamas in a strong financial position to be able to weather the storm in terms of what has happened to us.
Now, FTX filed for bankruptcy in the United States after a bailout from its rival Binance fell through. Johnson reasons that while the country's financial jurisdiction can weather the storm at this time, in this growing industry, we will always have to do more.
I think you have to have the right laws in place to be able to, especially the digital asset, to be able to improve upon the laws that you currently now have, and to be able to strengthen the teeth and the comb of the different regulatory agencies that oversights, the cryptocurrency space in the Bahamas. In terms of the market opportunity that exists, there are a lot of cryptocurrency firms that are coming to the Bahamas. There's a new one that came to the Bahamas, and so we must make sure that our laws are strong. We have strong integrity that is protecting the system, and get people to have confidence against. This is a market correction, just like how you have corrections that take place in the stock market, in the bond market, in the real estate market. A correction is taking place in the cryptocurrency market.
The country's economic recovery continues to bear good fruit. The Ministry of Finance's latest figures showing a continued widening of the government's fiscal rebound as revenue receipts climb. Altovise Munnings takes a closer look at the first quarter results of the 2022-2023 budgetary period.
Year over year, total stopover visitors remained strong as COVID-19 protocols were eased with the elimination of COVID-19 emergency orders and continuation of many family island market developments. And despite the continued global financial impacts, growth is estimated to remain positive at 3.2%, and that's according to recent International Monetary Fund publications. Revenue collection for the first quarter of the 2022-2023 fiscal year are estimated at $654.3 million, surpassing the prior year's collections by $57.8 million, or 9.7%. Here's the key improvements in tax revenue. Value-added tax at $35.4 million, $26.9 million in departure taxes, $23.6 million in excise duties, stamp taxes on financial and realty transactions valued at $1.8 million, $2.3 million in gaming taxes, and $2.2 million generated in motor vehicle taxes. Non-tax revenue performance improved by $3.7 million, or 4.9%, to $79.9 million, and that's supported by the receipt of $14.8 million in Hurricane Dorian proceeds. Now, aggregate expenditure decreased by $58 million exactly, or 7.9%, to $674.8 million, and that's accounting for 20% of the total budget target. In recurrent expenditure developments, spending on the use of goods and services narrowed by $13.2 million and subsidies tightened by $16.7 million amidst improving economic performance and employment levels. Reliance on COVID-19 support continues to wane, with social assistance benefits receding by $41.9 million as compared to the elevated levels in the previous year. Increased outlays during the quarter resulted from higher public debt interest payments of $10.5 million, $4.4 million in pension and gratuity payments, and $11.4 million spent on employee compensation. Capital spending, though, contracted by $10.2 million to $54.2 million, representing 14.6% of the budget target. Key declines in capital include owing to reduced spend on other structures totaling $7.6 million, other machinery and equipment amounting to $4.4 million, and $11.5 million in capital transfers. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Altaviz Munnings.
Well, just days of his trip to COP27 in Egypt, Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, the Honorable Philip Davis, met with stakeholders of the African Export-Import Bank during a courtesy call at his Cable Beach office yesterday. Headquartered in Cairo, Egypt, the bank, which represents 50 African member countries, played a major role in last week's COP27 conference. The bank's head of trade and corporate finance leading the discussions that also included Foreign Affairs and Public Service Minister Fred Mitchell, Economic Affairs Parliamentary Secretary Wade Watson, Financial Secretary Simon Wilson, Permanent Secretary David Davis, Special Policy Advisor Jerome Fitzgerald, and Bahamas Development Bank Chairman Quentin Lightbourne. The meeting concluding with the agreement that a memorandum of understanding on capital support will be signed. And speaking of trips abroad, the Deputy Prime Minister addressing the issue today when asked by reporters. Here's Carla Palmer.
We have led many missions abroad.
And according to the Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable Chester Cooper, more missions are scheduled, and all still on behalf of the Bahamian people, as he and his tourism team seek to promote the Bahamas to the world in hopes of growing visitor numbers and attracting investors to eventually grow our economy.
We have had 4 very successful missions so far. These missions have been to carry the word that we are open for business. We have 16 magnificent island destinations. We have been locked down in COVID. We've had an impact in Dorian, and we're back.
DPM Cooper maintains, though, the Bahamas must regain its market share.
The tourists we need are the tourists who are abroad. And to get them in the relationship business and a people business, you have to go where they are. So I can give an account for the missions that we have done. We will do more. That's the nature of the business.
At this juncture, he disclosed his upcoming travel plan.
We have plans of going to Texas, to Houston, Dallas, and Austin. We've just come back from the World Travel Market in London. We will go to the Middle East again because that's fertile ground for very high net worth clients. So as it relates to the investment space, as it relates to the tourism market, we have to tell our own story. And if we're attracting foreign direct investors, if we're attracting foreign tourists to the Bahamas, it follows that we have to go abroad to reach them.
The next travel mission by tourism officials is reportedly still to be determined. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Carla Palmer.
Hi, this is Chief Meteorologist Basil Dane with a tropical weather update brought to you by BTC and CBS Bahamas. 15 days remaining in the official tropical cyclone season, and the tropics remain quiet. Showers associated with those 2 areas that we've been looking at over the past couple of days has become less organized, and development is not likely due to unfavorable atmospheric conditions. This has been the tropical weather update brought to you by BTC and CBS Bahamas.
And you're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. More after this.
We are a leading Bahamian bank, one of the largest publicly traded companies on BISX. Our measure of strength is our growth and performance, with over $1.7 billion in assets. We remain committed to serving the interests of our shareholders, staff, clients, and communities. The confidence to lead, the performance to remain. We are Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet so fast I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet so fast I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles run cooking.
Mine so fast when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine so fast when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
But it's so fast, I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed. Totally free. Link up with BTC. We need to save. Be happy! Save at KFC with the one-piece chicken box fill-up for only $5.95. Enjoy genuine savings and the genuine flavor of KFC chicken fried to golden perfection with crispy fries, a buttery biscuit, and an ice-cold Pepsi. Only at KFC Nassau.
There's no better time than now to update the look of your home. Right now at Tile King, you'll save 20% on countertops and tiles, 15% on mosaics, and 10% on brick pavers. This amazing sale is happening right now at Tile King, located in the Builders Mall, number 69 Wolf Road. This sale has been extended and now ends November 19th. So come on down today so you don't miss out.
To think of the bank as my personal ATM machine. If I wanted a new car, new furniture, a weekend trip to Miami, no problem. Just max out the credit card or top up my loan. I was a big baller until I realized that 75% of my salary was going to pay back all those loans. Fidelity's personal financial coaching was the best solution. Fidelity gave me a plan with a debt consolidation loan that has a built-in savings that pays 5% interest. I now only have one low monthly payment plus money in my pocket. Give Fidelity Bank a call at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit any of Fidelity's locations or visit a website at fidelitygroup.com. Fidelity.
Today's homicide count, a staggering 118. And while the Minister of National Security, the Honorable Wayne Munro, holds that one murder is one too many, he says he's satisfied with the apprehension rate.
Compared worldwide, it's very good. It's very high. Our police do a very good job at catching you when you do things. Our saturation patrols have been increased as we're able to give them more resources in terms of manpower and vehicles. You've seen some cases of persons actually apprehended after committing offenses, shortly after committing offenses.
Minister Munro maintains government's committed to doing all it can to fight crime.
We will intend to up the number of vehicles we give them. We're recruiting more police officers. We aim to recruit at least 2 classes a year. And so we'll give them the vehicles, the resources they need to be ever present on the streets.
From the courts this evening, the Court of Appeal has dismissed the convictions and sentences of appellants Stanford Pinder and Leroy Fox, who are serving time behind bars for murder and attempted murder incidents in February of 2017. Pinder was sentenced to 30 years behind bars for murder and 20 years on each count for attempted murder. Fox was sentenced to be detained during the court's pleasure on the charge of murder and 15 years on each charge of attempted murder. However, considering the time spent on remand, 27 months was deducted from the sentences of both appellants. Both men appealed on the grounds of inconsistent evidence, misstatement of material evidence, lack of cautionary direction, and the judge's summation, among other things. Pinder also complained that his sentence is unduly severe as he is paraplegic. Well, it's about bringing dreams to reality. Dozens of college hopefuls attending a recent college recruitment exercise spearheaded by the Public School Scholars Program. Lloyd Allen was there.
I would like to go off to college to study to become a nurse.
For high school senior Leonte Aubrey, over the years, that dream has inched closer to reality after watching two other siblings benefit from scholarships offered through the Public School Scholars Program. Aubrey was among dozens Monday evening at C.V. Bethel School, where more than 14 colleges and universities throughout North America converged to recruit some of the best and brightest throughout the public school sector. Paul Aubrey says, as a parent, the program has long proven its value.
If she's successful at it, she would be my third child that would actually have been through this program.
Education Minister, the Honorable Glenys Hannah Martin, says the event is centered on helping tertiary institutes zero in on diverse students while giving college hopefuls a buffet of options to explore.
This is a college fair, but it's a special one. It's for public school students with a singular focus on students from public schools. So all of the public schools are represented here. You see some of the students here. Y'all here today? Yeah! and it's a variety of universities that have come who we have relationships with through memoranda of understanding.
Program Administrator Dr. Monique Hinsey says at Central State University alone, more than $10 million has been offered to assist recipients with funding their studies. And with more and more colleges and universities eager to join the project, well, she explains why.
They have the guarantee of the government of the Bahamas. And second of all, they understand that our students are top-notch students.
Many of the recruiters offering their unique pitch for enrollment.
Within the 2 years that they're working with us, most of our programs have some sort of skills-based on-the-job training that is required, paid, unpaid, whatever they find.
St. Leo offers a array of different scholarships based on academic merit. So students are able to receive academic merit scholarships as well as a global citizen scholarship, which is specific for international students.
We have 42 degree offerings. All of them are really popular, and it really just depends on what the ambitions of our students are.
Many of the students leaving that event having began the process toward enrollment and funding. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen.
Education officials responding to the recent absence of some students and teachers at the Moores Island All-Age School in Abaco. A video recently surfaced showing empty classrooms and no students or teachers visible. We got this response from Acting Director of Education, Dominique McCartney-Russell.
Earlier in the year, two of the teachers in Moores Island, that's the language arts teacher and the social studies teacher, they were reassigned to other districts due to our domiciliary policy. And so we were waiting on appointment letters for the new teachers to be placed at Moores Island All-Age School. Those letters have not they've not been given us yet. We did find a language arts teacher, but when she learned that she would be posted to Moores Island, she declined. And so we have been assiduously looking for, persons to be posted to Moores Island. We would have found a language arts teacher who is willing to Moores Island. However, they will be posted in January due to, the lateness of the term.
Education's acting director admitted that securing a teacher for this jurisdiction is quite challenging.
It's on a boat is 40 minutes, and the plane is a small plane, so that has been challenging. And so we have even asked we've spoken to the former school board chairman, we've spoken to the principal, and the chairman, who is actually a parent, and asked him, if and the principal, if there are teachers who are from Moores Island who are willing to return to Moores Island, we would be willing to, have them posted back to their home.
Now time for the weekly poll question, and this week we're asking, rate the government's preparedness and response this hurricane season, A, B, C, or D. To participate, simply log on to our website, www.znsbahamas.com, as well as any of our social media platforms to answer. The poll's final results will be aired on Friday. As always, thanks for your participation. The Bahamas Tonight continues after this.
Good to go. Keeping you in the know. Keeping you in the know. God, if it's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow. If it's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow.
Acting Director for Local Government Neil Campbell has been busy rolling out the vision that he and the Minister of Agriculture, Marine Resources and Family Island Affairs, Clay Sweeting, both had for local government when they served as practitioners. According to Campbell, many changes have already taken place since the appointment of a 16-member review committee. These changes bringing an air of excitement to the department.
I think we are all excited about it. We have two teams, one for the Northern Bahamas and one for the Central and Southern Bahamas. They've been going to the various districts and everything else, speaking with the persons, giving those questions and even advancing questions that we never even thought that may have been asked. And so far, it seemed to be energized. And I believe we're going to make a definite impact within those local communities.
The budget for several aspects of local government has been improved. Campbell says he believes a major win for local government practitioners will be when they are able to generate their own funds.
A lot of times, persons say you come up with a lot of ideas, but the ideas, in actuality, need to have some funding behind it. So he's looking at special funding as well, where they'll have some revenue-generating powers, where they could actually realize all of these ideas that they may have. Different islands have different concerns. Drainage, some may say fire engine, some will look at community centers. Some will just improve the surroundings. So once that comes into play, I assume a lot of the problems we had or would now exist will be no more.
A year later as acting director, Campbell says he is proud of the achievements and improvements he sees across the islands, and especially proud of the structure being put in place.
There is now an organizational chart within the department where everyone really and truly knows what their roles are and what is really expected of them. Before, we adopted a lot of things that caused a lot of crossover, a lot of confusion, and sometimes it caused some sort of friction. So now with bringing the organizational chart, we now have that structure where everybody knows where we're at, what the responsibilities are.
Keeping you in the know with Good to Grow, I'm Georgio Bain.
Get a merry makeover this Christmas from Scotiabank. Apply for a Scotiaplan loan to win a home renovation. This Christmas, unwrap the celebration. $3,000 for your home, new lamp, new decor, new couch that you
win
own.
Win a $3,000 home goods gift card when you apply for a Scotiaplan loan this Christmas. We're giving you the gift of a low interest rate and up to 2 months with no payments. Plan the perfect Christmas with your Scotiaplan loan. Use it for any purpose, plus benefit from flexible payment terms. Apply for a Scotiaplan loan now to enter to win a merry home makeover.
Not one, not two, but 3 days of fun. Get your 20s ready because there's something for everyone. That's right, Bahamas Liquidation and Auction Center on Mackey Street in the former Q Club building is having a 3-day Binorama, November 25th, 26th, and 28th from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Anything you want in the bin, from a selection of house and kitchenware items, games, toys, and electronics for just $20. So come on down because this is an event you don't want to miss.
Are you a contractor or new homeowner? Maybe you need a few pieces of lumber for your DIY projects. Welcome to Capital Lumber, the newest building materials company in the Bahamas. Located on Parkgate Road, Nassau, helping you to maximize your savings on lumber, cement, shingles, tools, and much more. your one-stop shop for all your building essentials. With free delivery to the mail booth, visit us today. Capital Lumber, build strong.
A new ambassador extraordinaire from Spain to the Bahamas officially taking office after a brief ceremony at the office of the Governor General earlier today. His Excellency Diego Terreras presenting his letters of credence to Governor General, His Excellency Cornelius A. Smith, an occasion which comes as the two nations observe almost 50 years of diplomatic relations. Speaking to our news team at the Governor General's East Bay Street office, the new ambassador says he's looking forward to a number of things during his tenure, including building on similarities and sharing ideas on how to deal with threats like climate change.
Maybe we would need a Spanish visits to the Bahamas, not only me, to have more exchange of views and knowing exactly what we can do, but because that's very important. I know your situation, I know what you need in general, but I think if there would be more exchange of visits, Bahamas, government going to Spain, and in exchange Spanish government officials coming to here, that will be a good thing for the future.
The ambassador also noting education as a shared value between the two nations, foreshadowing the possibility of a partnership which would allow Bahamians to study abroad and one that could see an increase in students fluent in Spanish.
And from Spain, we love the Caribbean, and we would like to be here since the primary school. That means that I would like to bring teachers from Spain to help the Bahamian authorities to write a curriculum from the Spanish for the Spanish learning and teaching from the primary school to the university. So one is the things that you are doing, but I think we can do something more.
Well, as we head to the break, we'd like to thank all of our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. And just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up. There's more after this.
The most rewarding time of the year. To RBC, get a loan to buy whatever. RBC makes it better. Get a loan and don't pay till New Year.
Make Christmas what you want it to be with a personal loan from RBC. Apply at rbc.com/Caribbean/loan and don't pay till February 2023. RBC makes it better.
Get a loan and don't pay till New Year. To RBC.
NBA League Pass is the coolest way to watch the hottest game there is. When threes rain down and superstars heat up. When clutch jumpers splash and your team is fire. You'll be there for up to 40 games a week, any way you want to watch. NBA League Pass. Order now.
Join up for life insurance. Secure the ones that you love. Join up with Family Guardian. We offer full protection. Join the family. Join the family. Family Guardian. Protect the ones you love. A friend that you can trust. Family Guardian.
Comfort Suites Paradise Island is the best kept secret in the Bahamas. Located directly next door to the Atlantis Resort, you'll receive all the privileges of an Atlantis guest with all the benefits of a Comfort Suite stay. Enjoy everything Atlantis has to offer, including Aquaventure Water Park, plus all the amenities of Comfort Suites. Free Wi-Fi, free breakfast daily, and kids stay, play, and eat free. Visit ComfortSuitesPI.com.
A news team has learned that Grand Bahama residents are reportedly blaming the government for the Grand Lucayan Resort deal falling through. It's been said that had renovations been completed to the Grand Bahama International Airport, the agreement would not collapse. As Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation.
I've listened intently to a lot of people speculating. I've listened intently to many members of the former board speaking to matters on which they have no information. Let me just say that we have laid out the circumstances as it relates to Grand Lucayan. Suffice to say, we are in the final stages of selecting the provider for the rebuilding of the Grand Bahama Airport. So I am not going to get into a back and forth with persons who had a mandate to sell the property and didn't do so. They must give account for their stewardship. We will give account for ours.
Well, the Deputy Prime Minister maintains that the government is focused on reviving the local economy.
We will do what's in the best interest of the Bahamian people. We will do what's in the best interest of Grand Bahama. And suffice to say, as we've laid out before, we are pressing forward. And I am confident that we will be able to do a transaction or a pivot as it relates to the Grand Lucayan Resort. That's going to be in the best interest of the people.
Officials in Exuma are remembering those who fought for our freedom in a special service this past Sunday. Wreaths were laid for those Bahamians who toiled for the freedoms we enjoy today. Government, local government, civic, and other stakeholders participated in the annual church service at St. John's Union Baptist Church in Georgetown. Well, it's time now for a check on Family Island weather temperatures. Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean standing by. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Desmond. We are currently under near clear skies. We have a temperature of 83 degrees. The relative humidity just around 69%. East winds at 7 miles per hour. The barometric pressure 1,019.0 millibars. That's 30.09 inches, and the pressure is falling. Temperatures around the Family Islands this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 79 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, Granville, Key, and Marshall, Barbacoa. The Berry Islands at 85 degrees, 80 degrees in Alistown, Bimini, 82 at Harbor Island, Roxanne, Eleuthera, Black Point, Exuma, and Camp Space, Old Andros. Fresh Creek in Central Andros at 83 degrees. Alistown, Cat Island, San Salvador, and Rum Key at 84 degrees, 85 in Georgetown, Exuma, 83 in Ragged Island, Clarence, San Long Island, Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, and Acklands, Matthew-Town, and Agua, 84, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 85 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Setter. In the northwestern islands tonight, east to southeast winds and speeds around 10 to 15 knots. Your wave heights, they're going to be 2 to 4 feet over the ocean, and you can expect your high tide at 1 in the morning. Now, for the central and southeastern islands, easterly winds also at 10 to 15 knots, and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. Now, tomorrow, which is Wednesday through Thursday, the winds are going to fall off light and variable, but on Thursday afternoon late, you can expect a frontal system to push in, and that will see the winds blowing out of the northwest behind that frontal system, picking up in speeds 10 to 15 knots. Wave heights 1 to 3 feet. They will be building Thursday afternoon to about 2 to 4 feet. Low tide takes place at 6:58 tomorrow morning with a high tide at 1:19 in the afternoon. Now, for the central and southeastern islands tomorrow through Thursday as well, easterly winds are 10 to 15 knots, and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. That's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Shorts. But stay tuned, the extended weather forecast is still ahead.
Welcome to the all-new CBS Pro Store. We'll be introducing various products such as plywood, sheetrock, metal stud, and a whole array of bulk construction products. But you can expect the same high level of service that you have been receiving at CBS Bahamas. We originally opened the store in 1980 as our retail location. Hearing from our customers that they wanted us to cater more to contractors, we decided to open the CBS Pro Store here at Robinson Road. So come by and visit us at CBS Pro Store on Robinson Road, where we can help you build beautiful.
Tired of hoping the right candidates.
Hey, baby, you back? Man, it's so good to be home. All I do is eat, shop, and party.
Well, I know you left all of your money over there. I hope you left COVID there too. Anyway, you could get your COVID test for free.
COVID test for what?
Yes, there is rapid antigen COVID tests for anyone who travel who wants to get one.
Well, ain't nothing wrong with me. I sick. What I need a COVID test for?
You don't have to have symptoms. We just want to be sure that the only thing you brought back with you is what is inside that suitcase.
You say it free?
You do not even have to make an appointment. And guess what? You have your results back within 15 minutes.
Wait, you say it quick, convenient, and it free? Thanks. Let me go find one of these testing sites.
Message is brought to you by PAHO WHO and the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Link up with BTC and call it one and done. Link up with BTC and call it one and done.
The soothing sounds of the world-famous Royal Bahamas Police Force Band perfectly sets the tone for this special night where we've come together to officially welcome BTC's new CEO, Samir Bhatti. And while it's a big night for Samir, he has you in mind because as you listen, you'll hear that there are big plans on the way to make your service even better.
I'm honored to be here and to celebrate this moment with my fellow staff and the community. I also thank my team members from my SLT and my staff and BTC family, our board, and the community. I think we're all looking forward to this. We're going to roll fiber deeper and throughout the archipelago. We'll continue that journey. I think we're also going to have more people. We'll be announcing a few hires here tonight, and we'll continue to focus on adding to our front line to make sure we are delivering the desired customer experience.
Well, I think the new name is Samir. He comes to us with a lot of experience from the industry, which I think is great. But what is even better is that he's a true Bahamian, and he loves the Bahamas. And the combination of a true Bahamian together with a lot of industry knowledge, coming here to really make BTC big, even bigger than what it is already today, that is fantastic.
Samir's making it his business to listen and to act. These are still the moments that move us. I'm Corvell Pyfrom. Be well and be back here next. BTC Connection.
Link up with BTC and call it one and done. Link up with BTC and call it one and done.
It's your honorary pump attendant here to educate you on the do's and don'ts at the service station. Here's what you don't do. Do not pull up from the pump without first checking that the nozzle has been removed from your car. Because if you pop this, that's about $600,000 to $30,000 to replace. These things ain't cheap. What you want to do is make sure that the nozzle has been removed, or just wait for the universal sign, which is the double tap.
I've been blown away. Totally love the vibe to really be able to lead this process. I feel a great sense of gratitude around being able to have Shelly to be here with us.
This event was one that you had to be here.
Any time that I am able to spend time with especially young women who have aspirations and things they want to achieve, it is just always wonderful. So this has been a terrific experience today.
Sports Report is brought to you by Hoop Fest in Paradise, December 16th to the 17th at the Kendall G. Isaacs Gym. The best in U.S. and Bahamian high school basketball. Welcome to your Tuesday Sports, everyone. I'm Amajal Knowles. It certainly was a spectacle at Fort Montague yesterday as dozens of sailors adorned in their country's colors and flags marched throughout the Nassau Yacht Club, led by the world-renowned Royal Bahamas Police Force Band. Of course, this all a part of the official opening ceremony for the 2022 North American Optimist Sailing Championships being held here in the capital. The week-long event set to feature 155 sailors from 20 countries who all descended upon the Bahamas to claim bragging rights on the water. Chairwoman Erin Tomlinson on the atmosphere.
Team started arriving on November 7th, so slowly we've been getting more and more kids here every day, and I think today has been the busiest and most fun day. The club is just, alive with kids and coaches and sailors, and it's just great to see so much activity here and so many young people doing the sport that they love.
Especially looking forward to the week-long sailing is Team Canada.
Expectations are just to come down here, race really hard, have a lot of fun, and try and make as many friendships that will last a lifetime in the sailing sport that we do.
For a lot of your team, is this their first time in the Bahamas?
For most of us, it is our first time down in the Bahamas. I think we've had a couple of people that have been down here before, but for the most part, it's a lot of our first times.
The Bahamas men's national team dropping a hard-fought game in its final FIBA World Cup qualifier in 2022. Over the weekend, they would face the fourth-ranked Argentinian squad and gave them all they could handle, but ultimately fell 80-76. Despite the loss, former national team coach and current Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, the Honorable Mario Bolag, says he applauds the team's effort.
I thought that we had the resilience of us having that fight, no matter we was down, I think 19 points at one point in the third quarter, and being able to come back and only get beat by 4 points tells you that we had the fight in us. And it's all because the personnel, and you look at this team is made up of persons of who I call blue-collar basketball players. They know how to fight, and they know how to grind and keep in the game. And so as we move forward in these games, every quarter and every game, whether it's America's qualifiers or the World Cup qualifiers, we learn new things. And I think Moses did a great job understanding the personnel that he had.
And for a pair of elder statesmen of the national team program, John Keno Burrows and Kadeem Colby, they gave us an idea on what motivates them to answer whenever the country calls.
Basketball is life, and you make a lot of sacrifices. You travel a lot. You leave your family behind a lot, and then you come to play in front of your family a lot. So, sometimes you just got to do what you have to do just to be in the position that you're in.
A lot of guys haven't been in the program for a while, and they got that call to duty, and they came here and give 100%. So, me and Dave, I think I've been around the longest by far, but I watch all these guys come into the program. And I just couldn't be more proud, man. There's guys like Dave Nesbitt, we on our last legs, and to come home in the front of the home crowd and really represent. Guys like Kadeem Colby, Eugene Bain, special shout-out. Abel Joseph, special shout-out, Like I say, I couldn't be more proud to go to war with this group of guys.
Over the weekend also saw the official launch for the Golden Jubilee edition of the Bahama Games set to take place next year, with the event not having been active for several years. One of the islands participating is hoping to see a youth movement as far as athletes are concerned, as there are many persons in this generation that may not know about the legacy of the event.
It's because there are so many young athletes today who only heard about the Bahamas game, but they never had the opportunity to experience the Bahamas games. This year, I'm just going to be participating in all of the disciplines, and the majority of our athletes will be young athletes because we want them to experience what the Bahamas game is all about. We have a number of track and field athletes who are in the U.S. We're going to bring all of them home to participate with us. We have athletes like Keyshawn and Shaquille Leclerc and others who are going to be representing Andrew. So we're going with a young cadre of athletes for this year's Bahamas game.
And a trio of local boxers gearing up for a major international tournament. The Bahamas Boxing Federation yesterday officially revealing the team that will represent the 242 at the Burt Perry Boxing Invitational in Kissimmee, Florida. Hear from the young prize fighters on their training and expectations.
I've been training with the Official Boxing Gym for about a year now. This is going to be my second event I'm going to. Hopefully, I wish to go there and bring back a gold medal, not a silver, not a bronze. Even if I do get a silver or bronze, it'll be good either way, but I'm pushing for a gold medal.
My preparation for this event is going quite well. I've been training every day, running, doing my push-ups, sit-ups, going to the gym. Yeah, I would like to shout out to my coach, Rico Arnett, and Vincent Delaveau, and also my parents and my whole family. I mean, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have gotten this far. They gave me the motivation to keep pushing myself.
I hope to bring back a gold medal.
And that's been Look at Your Sports. This Tuesday, a check on weather when we return. The Sports Report was brought to you by Hoop Fest in Paradise, December 16th to the 17th at the Kendall Geologics Gymnasium, the best in U.S. and Bahamian high school basketball.
Throughout our lifetime, we must all make decisions. No matter how we choose, the right one just needs to be made. Like having J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers as your insurance partner. We've been serving the Bahamas for over 100 years. Whether you need home, motor, marine, or commercial insurance, make the right decision. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance. Peace of mind.
Get a merry makeover this Christmas from Scotiabank. Apply for a Scotiaplan loan to win a home renovation. This Christmas, unwrap the celebration. $3,000 for your home, new lamp, new decor, new couch that you
win
own.
Win a $3,000 home goods gift card when you apply for a Scotiaplan loan this Christmas. We're giving you the gift of a low interest rate and up to 2 months with no payments. Plan the perfect Christmas with your Scotiaplan loan. Use it for any purpose, plus benefit from flexible payment terms. Apply for a Scotiaplan loan now to enter to win a merry home makeover.
Welcome to the Cable Bahamas Business Solutions Cybersecurity Tip of the Day for data backups. Regularly back up your business's data. Set your backups to happen automatically and store them somewhere secure. When considering data backups, consider the rule of 3-2-1. Have 3 local backups, 2 digital backups, and 1 offsite backup. Remember, stay safe, stay informed, and stay protected.
The forecast calls for great savings at Super Value and quality supermarkets. Best value kernel corn, 15 ounce, $1.19. First choice sugar, 4 pounds, $2.59. Sweet bananas, 99 cents per pound. Cardinal evaporated milk, 14 ounce, $1.19. Smoked picnic hams, $2.69 per pound. Donate your change to help feed the Humane Society animals at Super Value and quality supermarkets.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet's so fast I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet's so fast I can download a whole season of shows before my noodles run cooking.
Mine's so fast when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine's so fast when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
But it's so fast I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed. Totally free. Link up with BTC.
Nobody can talk about your business or a special event like you can. Do you want a way to bring your message to a large audience? You need a live ZNS radio interview. 5 minutes of airtime to let listeners know directly from you all about your company, product, or upcoming event. And now, for a limited time only, get 5 interviews for 25% off or 10 interviews for 35% off. Call the ZNS sales office today, 502-3800, and get on the radio. Nobody can talk about your business or special event like you can. Do you want a way to bring your message to a large audience? You need a live ZNS radio interview. 5 minutes of airtime to let listeners know directly from you all about your company, product, or upcoming event. And now, for a limited time only, get 5 interviews for 25% off or 10 interviews for 35% off. Call the ZNS sales office today, 502-3800, and get on the radio.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, high pressure is in control of our weather, but not for long. There is an advancing frontal system. You can see the leading edge of that now approaching central Florida. That will slowly push towards the south and east. We expect the front to move into the northwest Bahamas on Thursday afternoon late. It is expected to stall, and it will oscillate north and south across the northwest Bahamas for several days, taking us right into Tuesday of next week. So the weekend looks as though it's going to be somewhat on the wet side as a result of the presence of this frontal system. Our forecast for tonight, we're going for mainly clear skies, 74 degrees for the low, and tomorrow it's going to be mostly sunny, quite nice, 86 degrees for your high temperature. And the extended weather forecast, as you can see, tomorrow not too bad, but come Thursday afternoon late, the showers start working its way into the forecast, and that will remain with us right through the weekend, taking us right into Tuesday of next week before we see some relief sometime around Wednesday. Temperature-wise, though, going to keep you in the low 80s, climbing up to about 85 degrees over the weekend, but that will dip as we head into the early part of next week. Once that frontal system goes through, we will see some milder temperatures. But just before I leave, Elder Beverly Clagg, that's the wife of Bishop V.G. Clagg. Yes, she celebrated her birthday today, and we want to wish her all the best. Desmond?
Thank you, Basil. That does it for the Bahamas tonight. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. From all of us here at ZNS, thank you so much for watching. Have a good night.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Another day, another adventure.